Alright, yo, hello and welcome everybody. What is going on? So we are here. We have finally made it to the final episode of Fate Zero. It's been quite a journey. It's quite a good journey, in all honesty. I did not expect this anime, I guess you could say series, considering that obviously UBW will be next. Fate UBW Unlimited Blade Works. But I did not when Fate Zero won the poll, a few months ago, 2-3 months ago, I did not expect this show to be this good, and we've made it. 25 episodes, we've made it, and we're now at the final episode. Now, let me just quickly talk about the previous episode, because obviously I kind of just hurried to get to this episode, I guess you could say, because I really wanted to watch this. But now that I've started editing the previous episode and whatnot, it's currently rendering. I had a look at the previous episode a little bit again, just the last 2 minutes or so, and yeah, I don't know. There's one thing that I'm not really sure about, and that is that the Grail, I believe, mentions somebody called Agna. Great, I forgot it already. It's something like Agna Manu, Agno Manu, something like that. He mentions that, and I'm like, who's that? But I think overall I did understand. I did pretty much understand what the episode was about, what the Grail is about ultimately, and ultimately how flawed. Well, you could say flawed, but how? Yeah, let's use the word flawed. How flawed Kiritsugu's methods are, how flawed his way is, because obviously the Grail was using Kiritsugu's, so I'll just call him Kerry, it's just so much easier. The Grail was essentially exposing, I don't like that word exposing, just because there's this song called Exposed, but the Grail was essentially exposing Kerry's flawed mentality, flawed way of thinking, where essentially you keep sacrificing more and more people until nobody's left. That's basically the message that I was trying to portray. But yeah, I'm not sure whether the Grail is evil or whether it is that way because of Kerry's intention, because of Kerry's way of life. Because obviously that is a way of life that invites death, if that makes sense. So I don't know whether that's why the Grail is that way, or maybe something else. I'm not fully certain of that, but I would say that obviously the Grail right now has evil intentions, but whether the Grail is purely evil, or whether that's just because it follows an ideology right now from Kerry that on paper is evil. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, his plan wouldn't work in a global scale. That's basically what I understood. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe it was trying to say something totally different. But that's what I understood. That obviously Kerry's ways of killing or saving more people, and what's the right word to put it? Risking more people? No. His way of killing innocence for the greater good. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Killing innocence for the greater good is a flawed logic on the global scale, because ultimately you're going to end up with 0 people left if you continue doing that. So that's what I understood. I might be totally wrong, but like I said, that's what I understood. But anyway, we're going to get started with the final episode. The final episode of Fate Zero. Arturia was commanded to destroy the Grail. Gilgamesh saw Kerry. He wanted to make Arturia his wife. This should be interesting. This should be fun. So we're going to get started in 3. Before I start, as always, you'll find a link in the description down below for Amazon Drive, where you can obviously watch it with the footage in the video, which would be down here where the video is. But if you're watching it through YouTube, you can get. We're gonna get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Destroy the Grail. You see, if they actually had a talk, did that work? That's true. That is true. But I do feel like if is that did that work? This show really likes panning away all the locations that we've seen that we were at for the whole show. It didn't work, let me guess. What's that? Even Gilgamesh got pushed back. What is that? What the? What the heck is that? Is that the essence of the Grail? The vessel? Well, not the vessel, because... I forgot to mention Ilya. I'm guessing she's gonna be... Ah. 7 big lumps. Berserker... assassin. I'm guessing the 7 different classes, right? So she's gonna be like the next Grail. The world burns. Hopefully. Hopefully. Wow, that's a nice touch. No. Brutal. He's still alive. Why is he? I'm not even gonna ask. This guy. Yeah. Okay. So, what? What? Uh, I guess. I guess that's one way to win. Destruction. Destruction. So is he immortal now? That's my question. It found an answer with your death. Okay. Okay. That duo. That's what the name. Uh, the Grail. What's gonna happen between them now? That's the end. No, 10 more minutes. Yeah, he's learned a lot from him. Hmm. Because he wants the best. Wasn't she dead? Wasn't she dead? Hmm. Hmm. I see. Okay. He did. You may. Well, well. That was Fate Zero. I don't know what we can actually tell. But that was intense, I think. I think like it's I don't know. That was just intense. Especially considering it's the last episode of this series, I guess. But yeah, not what I expected. I did not expect the last episode to be like that. It does seem like Kira was the winner. I thought maybe perhaps I don't know, the Grail. What's the right word? The Grail exploded, because of the vessel and whatnot. Because the Grail was destroyed, so the vessel would the Grail would just erupt the power and whatnot. But as Gilgamesh said, considering that Gilgamesh is the only hero, the only servant that was left by the end, it does seem like he won, which in turn obviously means that Kira won. Which in turn obviously means that was in fact his wish, his desire. So he right now is on a path to figure out why, how, where, everything collected with that. Gilgamesh, he just seems to be around. I don't know about Kira. I don't know whether he's immortal or but he's apparently not alive, but he's not dead either. So he's just there in the middle. Then we had obviously Waver, who obviously lost Iskander. Now he wants to learn the world, and perhaps we'll see him in UBW. I don't know. I would hope so. I'd really hope if we were to see Iskander again. Arturia and the kid. I don't know the kid's name, but I think his name was Shin. I'm guessing in UBW, them two, because it just seemed like she wants to win the Grail, no matter what, and he wants to be a hero. So I think both of them fit a lot better than, for example, Kerry and Arturia did, because obviously a little bit of like clashing personalities, clashing ideologies, clashing wishes, and yeah, I just think that overall it was a very nice way to wrap it up. In all honesty, I thought that was a very nice way to wrap it up. I thought overall the series was awesome. This being my first Fate series, I guess you could say. Like that, much better than I expected. I didn't expect much when I go into a show. I don't expect much anyway, because I don't know whether it's going to be good or whether it's going to be bad. But considering that, obviously some of you guys back then recommended this show, I did kind of. I thought, I went in positively. I thought, this could be a positive. This could be a good show. Otherwise, people wouldn't recommend it. And it ended up being a great show. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, obviously, I just finished the show, so me giving it a rating right now would be a little biased, just because I just finished it. But overall, I'd probably give the show a 9 out of 10. I don't think there's really anything that holds it back from, say, being like a 10 out of 10 or a 9.5 out of 10. But I just don't think it's quite that high. But I also don't think it's anything lower than a 9, so I'll probably give it a 9, which would put it pretty much, at like the same level as like my other quote unquote favorite animes. Yeah. Overall, I think the biggest thing is now that I've got the concepts out the way, UBW should be much easier to grasp, because obviously Fate Zero, I mean, I tried understanding the show as good as I possibly could. There are a few things that I was a little bit confused about here and there, throughout the whole show. Like very early on, especially the first episode, I was like, what's going on at all? But like, just get going along with the show, understanding different things. I'm guessing Ilya will be like the next vessel, whatever, and like I think it's every 40 years the Grail War. So in like 40 years she'll be the vessel. There's a lot of things. That now that we've got like the concept out the way, that we've got, well, I should say me, that I've got like a general idea about this show, which all obviously cultivated into like the ending, the last 5-6 episodes, where like it just all came together, and it was just brilliant. I really enjoyed the show. Like right from the get go, there was a lot of action, a lot of mystery as well, and that just stayed throughout the whole series. So it wasn't like, even when it was just like an episode talking between like Gilgamesh and whatnot and Kira, especially down to whenever they were talking, or Gilgamesh and Iskander, it was still very entertaining, just because it was just different ideas coming together, which is why obviously it was the scene was supposed to be like that. That you may think that Alexandria, not Alexandria, what I'm saying, Arturia was quote unquote the greatest king, but it's like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the way she was a king. I don't agree with that. For me, I'm leaning more towards Iskander's and even Gilgamesh's their way of thinking as a leader, as a king. I think a king should be mightier. He should be greedier than everyone else, because ultimately people aspire to be a king. And if the king doesn't lead by example, if that makes sense, if the king isn't greedier, mightier, hungrier than everyone else, then what are you aspiring up to be? I know. When that episode came up, a lot of somebody else said that they're both wrong, and are probably a mix between Arturia and say a mix between Arturia and Iskander was probably the best. That's your opinion, and I have mine. Not saying that anyone's right, not saying that anyone's wrong, but like I said, just for me, I think that's why I lean towards Iskander and like Gilgamesh so much, and not so much towards Arturia. Because I just, first of all, I thought Iskander was just awesome, awesome personality wise. Then when I found out that he is the voice actor that was playing Iskander, is like the voices of like a lot of characters that I really like from other shows. And then you have the likes of me being a huge Alexander the Great, well, not a huge, maybe I shouldn't say that, but me, I used to be a huge, let's say that I used to be a moderately decent Alexander the Great fan, to the point where I read a few books, just, I know people don't really do that, people nowadays just use the internet, but I actually read a few books on him. But the fact that I didn't know that Iskander was meant to be Alexander the Great, that's just, that was probably my biggest F up in the whole show, I think. That's still the one moment that I'm really like, how did I not figure it out? How did I not figure out that the Persian / Macedonian king conqueror was Alexander the Great, aka Iskander? But yeah, like I said, overall, I'd probably give the show a 9. I don't know, like I said, I don't really give shows a 10 out of 10. But I don't know It's definitely a 9, but I don't think anything higher either. I don't think it's anything lower than a 9, but neither higher than a 9. So I thought very good show. I've definitely something that I'll watch again when I've got like time and whatnot. Not one of those shows that I'll watch once and be like, you know what, I don't need to watch it again. But I'll give this show a 9. Overall, like I said, very enjoyable journey, and we're gonna move on to UBW, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I guess. Until next time. I don't know when I'm gonna start UBW. What day is it today? Well, what date I should say. Rendering is probably finished as well. Yeah, it has. Today is 22nd. Tomorrow's probably tomorrow I'll probably do Ashton or Joe. Then on Thursday I'll probably do Gintama the movie. I want to finally get to that. And then let's say Saturday at the latest. Saturday at the latest, we're gonna start UBW. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys. Sunday, I should say. Saturday, Sunday at the latest. But until then, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone, and have a nice day.